Hi again, this is Colin, in case you don't remember from my last video. Now, in this video I'm going to talk to you about women in mixed martial arts. And what mixed martial arts is, or MMA for short, is a combat sport where athletes utilize and combine different forms of martial arts such as boxing, karate, kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, judo, or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and other forms of martial arts. And this, as I mentioned, this is a big interest of mine and a big reason why I chose to do women in professional sports for my social media project, because the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or the UFC as it's known, in February of 2013, which is last month as I'm recording this video, had their first women's fight where Ronda Rousey fought Liz Carmouche for the women's bantamweight championship. Now, the UFC was formed in 1993, and until UFC 157, they never had women fight. It was a men's only fight promotion. And for years, the media and the fans asked Dana White, when are we going to see women in the UFC? And Dana White's response was never. And part of the reason why women weren't in the UFC was because of the lack of depth, meaning the women's weight classes didn't have enough women to put on a UFC fight card consistently or regularly. But that all changed in November 2012 when Dana White announced that Ronda Rousey would be the first UFC women's fighter and would be the women's bantamweight champion. Now, she was given the championship right away because the UFC a couple years before that had bought Strikeforce, which is another fight promotion where she was the women's bantamweight champion, and they decided to bring her in to fight in the UFC. And she is one of the main reasons why women are in the UFC. I mean, she's 7-0, she's undefeated. She's beat some of the best women in the world, such as Sarah Kaufman or Miesha Tate, who are two very big name fighters in the mixed martial arts world. And she's finished all her fights by armbar, which is a submission. And she's a very good fighter. She's a background in judo, where she actually medaled in the 2008 Beijing Olympics in judo. She was the first American to ever medal in judo. And she's an excellent talent, just amazing. And if you ever should get the chance to watch her fight, you should, because she's incredible. And she is, as I said, one of the main reasons why women are in mixed martial arts, because she has so much talent to display. And not that she's the only fighter to display it. So tremendous talent. There's other fighters, as I mentioned, Miesha Tate and Sarah Kaufman, and even the aforementioned Liz Carmouche are excellent fighters and fight at a very high level and fight the best in the world. And UFC 157 was very successful when Ronda Rousey fought on the card. I mean, there was over 13. It took place in Anaheim, California, at the Honda Center. There was over 13,000 people. 13,000 people there, and they made the gate. The total gate was over $1 million, and the pay-per-view numbers were up 40% from the previous pay-per-view, UFC 156. I mean, it was tremendous success, and it seems that women in mixed martial arts is just going to get bigger. I mean, in April of 2012, Invicta FC, another women's only fight promotion, had been formed, which is never even heard of in the mixed martial arts world, because women would always fight on smaller promotions, such as or even Strikeforce, where there would only be maybe one or two women's fights. And there weren't as many big name women's fighters. Back a couple of years ago, probably the two most prominent women fighters were Gina Carano and Christina Cyborg Santos, although, and they were the two men, and they fought a couple years ago, and that was a very good fight. And the talent now is there, and that's what's making the difference, and that's why there's so much growth in women's MMA. I mean, I watched a couple of the Invicta FC fights on YouTube. You can go look them up on YouTube. And they're great fights. They're just as exciting as some of the best men's fights I've seen. Not just in the UFC, but in other fight promotions that I've watched. And I think this is just on the rise, and this is a good change for women in professional mixed martial arts, but as well as just general professional sports, because it shows that women can compete in professional sports, and maybe it will travel over to other sports where women aren't as highly promoted, such as fighters like Ronda Rousey. But anyways, that is the end of this video, and I should be releasing another video soon where we'll get more into this of mixed martial arts because it's become so big. So that's it for now. So take care, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.